Not only do we stop going in the wrong direction, it looks like we're up with YouTube. Praise God. Looks like YouTube is up. We just believe in Jesus' name. We're going to keep that connection with no problem. We're going to keep our Facebook live connection with no problem. And so we're just saying that repentance is more than just praying. It's more than just fasting and apologizing. It means to turn back to God, turn away from the sin, whatever it might be, and really sin is not always something so heinous. It's actually missing the mark. It just means we were headed in the wrong direction in some areas. And now we want to turn around and go the other way. But depending on how far off we were, how severe the infraction was, that repentance might be um, quite a process. Now, some of the steps or parts of this process could happen instantaneously. So we don't want to get into legalism. We don't want to get into rules and regulations and that kind of thing. We want to have the heart of God in repentance. And we also want to understand that it's not about condemnation. And even though there are works meet for repentance that we're going to do, it's not about works. Lest any man should boast. It really is all about the grace of God on us and in us and through us. And so it's very interesting. The steps we're going to talk about tonight really have to do with us having, adopting, connecting the heart of God in this situation, whatever the situation is that we're dealing with in repentance. And we know that our basic foundation scripture, where we found our process, is 2 Corinthians chapter 7, primarily in verse 8. And so and we've already gone through the sorrow of a godly sort. We've already gone through the carefulness of the diligence. We've already gone through the clearing of ourselves, or the works that are meet for repentance. So tonight, what we're going to deal with is the next three things. They're kind of, in my opinion, a little interwoven. One thing about these steps, they may not necessarily in your life and your situation be like cookie cutter ABC 1 2 3 like that. There might be some weaving in and out. You may start with one and then go back, and however it happens. But we may go through all of this in our repentance process. And just a reminder, I'm on both YouTube and Facebook. It looks like some of the YouTube people came to Facebook. We had trouble connecting on YouTube at first. But if you see me looking up and down, that's what I'm doing. Between looking at my notes here on the computer, I'm trying to look at both cameras. So again, that was at 2 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 11. So the next three that we're going to deal with tonight are, yea, what indignation, yea, what fear, yea, what vehement desire. Indignation, fear, and vehement desire. And what those are, in my opinion, the reason we're working with them all three together tonight at one time, in my opinion, those are us connecting to the heart of God concerning repentance in this situation. So the first thing that I think would be helpful is to get the definition of the words that we're using. I do that every night, and it's very interesting, the definitions for these words. And this portion of the Bible is written in Greek, pretty much, and so I've gone back, and I used to go back and I try and get a level of understanding of the Greek word that was used, and it's very, very interesting. The word indignation, I use the King James Bible generally just as my jumping off point, my starting point when it comes to research. And that word, we see the word indignation lots of times in the Bible. But the most interesting thing is that the word that's translated indignation in 2 Corinthians 7, verse 11, is only used in the Bible that one time. It's not any place else you see indignation is another form of that word. It's the same basic root word. But I just thought that was really interesting that word, that way, is only used that one time. You won't find that particular Greek word in the Bible, any place else. And so, if there are any scholars that can tell me why that is, be sure and let me know. But and it's number 24 in the Greek, as you know me and its pronunciation. I actually did listen to an app that pronounced it, but I already forgot. Sorry, how it's pronounced. But it really means to be sorely displeased and greatly afflicted, very, very upset. But this particular form of the word also means irritated, indignant, irritated, and even angry, almost to the point of wrath. And so we've gotten through this godly sorrow, and um, we've gotten through this carefulness, this diligence, and then the clearing of ourselves, the works we might even still be doing, remembering some of these things are concerned. But we just begin to get angry about the sin. And this is really important when we deal with these next three uh, steps or parts of the process, because it can very easily get over into, back again, like we mentioned, condemnation, but it can get over into guilt and that kind of thing. And so we have to rely heavily on the mercy of God, on the grace of God, understanding, on the power of God. This indignation is almost, like I said, it's almost an anger. And if we're not careful, to the point of wrath over the sin, but it's with ourselves, it's with, it can be with the devil or the enemy, the forces of darkness. It can be with maybe someone or something that led us to this point. But it's it's like a righteous indignation. And, how dare we have the situation? But like I said, it can get over almost into a guilt. How could I do this? We have to remember, God is not about punishing us. God is about discipline, sure, but He really wants to deliver us. And so He's not trying to beat us up. So even though we have to go to that godly sorrow just to get it in our heart. But then when we get to this point of this indignation, we have to direct it. It needs to be directed, because otherwise we'll turn it inward on ourselves. And so it's good to read the book of Hebrews, chapter 10, when we're dealing with this, and we'll focus on the verse 27. But it's really good to read all of Hebrews chapter 10, because the whole thing has to do with forgiveness of sin and remission of sin, and God's grace and God's mercy, and how we can't and couldn't have done it in ourselves. But it has to do with the glory of God and the forgiveness of God. But verse 27, uh, but a certain fearful. Okay, when we go back up to the previous. Now, one of the things that this indignation does, this anger, this wrath, and we dealt with the works, need for repentance, those works that will cause us to change. Because what we don't want to have happen is to go back into it. We don't want to go back into that same thing. And so verse 26, that's what we sin willfully, after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, that we made no more sacrifice for sin. And that's talking about the sinning and forgiveness and all of that. But 27, but a certain fearful, looking for a judgment and fiery indignation, which shall devour the adversary. And so that's fiery indignation, that looking forward to judgment, because we're judging ourselves. Remember, we were saying that a big part of this whole repentance process is we're judging ourselves, whether individually or judging the church. But this indignation we're beginning to get angry about it. We've been, our hearts been broken about it. We've been sorrowful about it. We've looked at it from every angle, and its carefulness and its diligence. And we're now beginning to walk out these works neat or suitable for repentance. And now we're just starting to get angry that that situation even existed. And that anger is important because it's going to serve us in a couple of these later steps. But we have to make sure that we are careful about it. And so that indignation, that irritation, frustration with the situation, works hand in hand with the next part of the process, which is fear. And so that is not uh, scariness, although there's a certain amount of fear. Like remember, we were frustrated, indignant, angry about the situation, and we might be fearful about going back into it. We don't want to fall back into that same thing. But there's also a healthy, reverential kind of fear of the Lord. The Bible says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. In fact, I've got some scriptures about that fear. But first, I want to read a definition of this word that's translated here, fear, out of Thayer's lexicon, which is one of the types of dictionary that gives a definition of the Greek word. Because I just thought this definition was really interesting. And it's saying that we're talking about in the scripture sort of a reverential fear. And it says of God as a controlling motive of the life. So this reverential fear of God can even be sort of a controlling motive or motivation in our life, in matter spiritual and moral. It's not just merely a fear of God's power and righteous retribution. That is, we're not just afraid that God's gonna strike me down, God's gonna kill me, God's gonna cause an earthquake. How people say, "Don't lie, lightning, striking," that kind of stuff. We don't live our life motivated by that type of fear, but there is this wholesome, this definition called it a wholesome dread of displeasing Him. It's a fear that banishes the terror that shrinks from His presence. Okay, so God is so awesome and He's so holy, and the scriptures, who can stand before the holy God? But you know that Jesus died, and the veil was torn, and He covered us with His blood so that we can come boldly before the throne of grace and find grace to help in a time of need. So that type of fear is gone. We don't have to be afraid to come into the presence of God. But then because we come into the presence of God as His children boldly, but there's still this wholesome fear of displeasing Him now. Because see, now we're coming to know His heart. We're coming to seek God for who He is. And we don't want to displease Him. We don't want to upset Him. Our fear is no longer God is going to strike me down. Now it's I love Him so much I don't want to hurt His heart. I love Him so much I don't want to disappoint Him with this sin that I know that He hates. Right? And so it also influences, according to the definition, it influences the disposition and the attitude of one whose circumstances are guided by trusting God through the indwelling Spirit of God. That disposition and attitude, like our whole attitude and our personality, our disposition of our personality is now influenced and moved by this fear of hurting and disappointing God, right? And our life is guided by trusting God through, as it says, the indwelling Spirit of God, right? But the other part that I really wanted to deal with in this definition is the reverential fear of God will inspire a constant carefulness in dealing with others in His fear. That's paramount when we're talking about repentance. We now have this reverential fear of hurting or disappointing God. And that is now going to cause us to be constantly careful, that carefulness we're talking about in dealing with others in the fear of the Lord. Because I understand that our God is this great and mighty and holy and loving God. And because I understand that about Him, as much as He loves me, He loves you. So I'm going to be careful how I handle you, how I deal with you, how I talk to you, how I think of you, because of His great love for you. I'm always amazed when I hear preachers and ministers and prophets talk down to believers. Sometimes you'll hear them ministering and they're beating up the people, and there's sometimes name calling, and I don't even want to say some of the things I've heard, like you just so stupid, you don't praise the Lord, and you with your crazy self and all this kind of stuff. But this fear of God, this wholesome fear of the Lord, will not let you do that because God loves these people. These are God's people. And as much as he loves you in his great holiness, he loves these people also. And so you can't do anything but respect the people of God because they belong to this God who loves them, the great God of all the universe. Jesus died for them. How dare we talk to them in that way, or treat them that way, or look at them like numbers? We got to get the numbers up. We got to get the more bodies in the pews, or look at them like dollars. We got to get the people giving it. We're not operating in the fear of God, in this reverential fear of God. When we see people that way, when we start thinking in terms of crowd control, and some people get this, and some people don't get that, and we're becoming respecters of persons, and that's a good indication that this fear, this reverential fear of the Lord, is not in operation, because it says that this reverential fear of God will inspire a constant carefulness in dealing with others in His fear, and that's important because as we're walking through this repentance process, that we're doing works that are meet for repentance, we want to change our attitude in this position, if necessary. We want to look at people, even how I was saying that thing yesterday, where I had to train myself to see people differently and look at people differently. We may have to do that with this fear, this reverential fear and awe and honor of God will help us to do that. And that's going to be coupled again with that indignation. Now, we were indignant, we were angry, we were upset and frustrated about the situation. And now, because again, these three that we're talking about tonight have to do with connecting with the heart of God in this repentance process. So this indignation, as we're getting closer to His holiness, the unholiness is looking worse, and it's starting to make us mad. It's starting to tick us off, and that's necessary because see, tomorrow night we're going to deal with it, that zeal and that revenge, because what we're going to begin to get angry about tonight in this in indignation portion. When we get to the revenge part, we're going to go back, and that's that same scripture that we just got through reading, 10:27, verse certain fearful, looking for judgment and fiery indignation. That's both of them. And the same scripture, which shall devour the adversaries. That's the next step also of this zeal and this revenge. Okay, and it's really avenging, but it's revenge for sure. Okay, so that's that indignation and that fear, and then the next one is vehement desire. So remember, the whole Bible and our whole relationship with God and with Jesus is a love story. You know, some of you may not know I've been a wedding planner for oh, almost 30 years, 28 years, wedding planner, event planner, and if there's any great romantic in the world, it is me. I love a good love story, but that's what the Bible is. It really is a love story. It's God created. He was so much love because God is love. He was so much love that he couldn't be contained all of himself. He had to create us to love him and to love one another. And then when we fell and when we went away from him, he loved us so much that he spent all of those generations getting us back. And that's the whole reason that Jesus died and he came. And it's all about love. And even now, our lives as believers, as Christians, we've all been given this ministry of reconciliation. It's just him working through us to show his love to the rest of the world and to win as many back as he can to him. It literally is all about love, right? And so, but when we are separated from him in any little way, like that's the reason for repentance, because the wages of sin is death. Wages means the payment, the compensation for sin. Remember, we said sin is missing the mark, but that's death. Now that death, if we go back and look at the meaning and all of that. It's not just that you're going to die, fall down dead tomorrow, but it's a separation. And there are so many different subtle separations between us and God. Just these things that we have in us. Like we might be walking in a measure of our relationship with God and the power with God, but every sin and everything that's not right is a little bit of a separation from it. That's why Apostle Paul had to say that to the people in Corinth, because they weren't the ones doing the sin, but they were tolerating it, and they didn't realize that that was a part of their separation from the power that God really had for them until they went through this repentance process. And it's like that in our lives, and this is why God has brought us to this moment in history, because He wants the church to move forth in power. But we've got these little separations from Him, because we've got these little separations from one another. And so, remember the wages or that compensation for sin is death. Death means separation. And so now we're going through this repentance process, and it's bringing us back together with Him. Because the things that were between us, so to think of a sin as just like putting up a screen or a division between us and Him. And as we repent and we move out of these things, then that's another barrier knocked down. We're able to be closer to Him. And as we draw closer to Him, He draws closer to us. In fact, He says, "Draw nigh to me, and I'll draw nigh to you." But as we get these dividers out of the way, then up comes this vehement desire that Scripture says, and it's an intense desire, a longing for, or an earnest desire for Him. I love it in Song of Solomon 8, verse 6. I think I know what it says, but let me pull it up just to be on the safe side. Song of Solomon or Song of Songs, depending how your Bible has it. That's just a great love story, and it absolutely represents God's love for the church through Jesus, but it's also just love with people. It's okay to use it that way too. So chapter 8, verse 6 of Song of Solomon. Let me go to chapter 8. Mine pulled up to chapter 1, and that's okay. It's in the right book. We're breezing through it tonight. I don't know if it's date night for everybody, but you'll be good. It's like date night. Okay, Solomon 8. Although y'all might not be stopping here before date night, you might see it. Okay, so it says, "Set me a seal upon thine heart, as a seal upon thine arm." It's Song of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 6. As a seal upon thine arm. Almost like a tattoo. Like He's like, tattoo be on your heart, just like a tattoo on your arm. For love is strong as death. Jealousy is cruel as the grave. The coals there are coals of fire, which have the most vehement flame. And so they were using that word vehement. That's why I use that scripture. And it's so dramatic. But again, I told you, I'm ready for it. I'm about as dramatic as they get. And this just think about that. Like, I love you so much that I want you to tattoo me on your heart, just like you would tattoo me on your arm. Because this love is as strong as death. Jealousy is as cruel as the grave. And the coals are like coals of fire, right? Which has the most vehement flame. It's super dramatic. But the point of it is that's how this longing for God becomes. This is how thank you, Pastor Nikki. This is how this love gets to be, because we're removing these separations that are between us. As we're drawing closer to Him, we're getting out of the way, getting some of this sin out of the way. We're walking through this process, and so we're beginning to get now. Like I said, our heart, there's no sound. You can't hear me. If anybody else can't hear me, tell me, because Alicia, I don't know. Nobody else has complained. I'm gonna keep going. You all let me know if you can't hear me. But I don't know. But what we're talking about is, okay, somebody can hear. But what we're talking about is, remember, this is not So we've gone through some of these other steps to the, oh, praise God, thank you. So we've gone through some of these other steps, but the things that we're dealing with now, this indignation, this fear. And remember, that's the fear. Okay, you, Pastor Mickey, that's this fear of the Lord. That's this fear that's causing us to have this carefulness, this reverential fear of it's going to cause us to be careful now in how we deal with people because we don't want to hurt him. We're falling back in love with him more deeply. We're separating from this sin, right? We have got already had this godly sorrow. Our heart has been broken over it because God's heart was broken over it, and we've been real careful with our diligence and what do we need to do to change, and we're beginning to walk out that process of change, remembering at all times that it's him working in us, and then in all of that now we are now developing this heart for him in this. And so we've got he hates the sin, and so now we hate it. And it makes him angry, not because he's angry with us, but because his heart and love and his desire is to protect us, because he's holy. And so now we're beginning to have that same thought and that attitude about it. That's kind of what that fear that we talked about, because we begin to, it's not we're scared of him. It's not that kind of a fear. It's we love him so much, we're scared of doing something that's going to hurt him. And we're scared of anything that's going to separate us from our presence with him. He means that much to us. And now this vehement desire is springing up, like how they were saying in Song of Solomon, when they were just talking that talk, like, set me like a seal on your heart, make me a tattoo. But the Bible says that he's engraved us in his righteous right hand. And so I heard somebody describe it like this: God is so holy, he worships, he praises himself. But when he lifts his hand and he looks at it, you're right in the palm of it. He can never ever forget you. He can never forget us. And so now we have separated ourselves from this sin, this thing that he dislikes so much, and we're drawing closer to him. And our desire for him is increasing. Anything that you give your attention to, your desire for it will grow. Which is why, as hard as it is when I've been eating wrong, I have to push myself to eat more and more of the right stuff. So you know how the first night I had that soda, and my friend Natalie was like, "Drink your water," and then I was like, "No more soda. I'll drink my water." So the next night I had the Perrier because I like the bubbles, but I don't need the soda. And the more I drink the Perrier, the more my desire for that increases, and then I don't even want the soda. So that's a part of our repentance process. And so every night we've been talking about really different specific kind of situation, because we're really talking about repenting against God, but also those situations where we're having to repent to a person. So like even in that situation where the husband was beating the wife, and now they have to repent, or the wife was unfaithful or something like that. And they've already been doing these works that are meet for repentance. That they're doing the works that go with it, because remember, it's not repentance if nothing changes. So, but even in the process of that change, now all of a sudden they really start to get, how could I do this? There's that indignation now. There's this, how could I have allowed myself to get to this point? And so, because first we talk about that in regards to God, but we talk about it in regards to other people. And if you don't find yourself at that point, then you may not be completely at repentance yet. You may still be at a point of making excuses for yourself. And that's important, especially when we talk about things like how we're talking about repenting, even in the church, for racism or prejudice, understanding that racism has to do with an individual organization's ability to exert power over another based on their race. But prejudice, you don't even have to have power. You just can make a judgment call and treat a person a certain way based on something that you observe, perceive, or guess about them. But they both are sin. They both are not love. They both are not God. And so when we're walking through this repentance process to deal with those kinds of things, when we get to this indignation part, if I'm not indignant about that, maybe I haven't fully gone through those previous steps yet. Maybe my heart wasn't completely broken about it. Maybe I haven't gone through the godly sorrow completely yet. Because at some point I should be beginning to be angry that I allowed that. You know, that's what happened with the Church of Corinth. They got angry, they got indignant. Why did we let this man bring this kind of sin in the church and just tolerate it? You know that you got to kind of come to that point because first our heart was broken, we were sad, sorrow almost to the point of death, but it brought us to the point of making a decision to make a change. And then we went from that into the actual process of making the change. And as we're making that change, then at some point when we look at it, we've got that. And if we don't get mad about it, I mean, we may not completely have turned from it. Because if we're still making excuses for it and it's still okay, there's still a way in our mind to justify it, then we're not done with it. And we don't completely have God's heart for it yet. So that's very, very important that we have that indigenous thing. And then again, that fear again, because now I'm seeing it from God's point of view, and I don't want to break his heart. You know, I went through the process where I realized his heart was broken and I broke it. But that fear is I fear doing it again. I don't want to hurt him. I love him with everything that's in me. And I don't want to do that to him anymore. And so now I'm afraid to do that. That there's a fear to do that. God is too good. He's too merciful. He's too mighty. And I understand because I've gone through this carefulness, this diligence, and these works of me for repentance. I understand the gravity of the situation. And I've had this indignation. And I understand just how serious it really is. And now this fear of hurting him, this reverential fear of disappointing him, this fear of letting him down, this fear of not completing the assignment or completing the task. It's big. It's big. And then again, we flow right into this vehement desire because I just want him. I want to be with him. I don't want anything to separate between me and him. I don't want anything to lessen the power that he's able to flow through me, the way he's able to use me. This longing. You know, if you ever see what's her name, Catherine Coleman. First, if you read her story, her biography of who she is, kind of an autobiography because she dictated it to somebody, but so we read it in the first person. And then but there's another biography written by the same person that says things that either she couldn't say or wouldn't say or something like that. But if you read it all together and you get a picture of her life and what she went through, and then when you watch the video of her, you understand because when she's preparing herself and invoking the Spirit of God and the presence of God, and she's just in these tears. I just love him so much. And she says he's all that I have. Because she had to intentionally sacrifice some things to be able to live and operate and walk in that level of power with the Holy Spirit. But that vehement desire will put you there. It'll help you to repent and separate some things. Because I just want to be where he is, and I just want to be with him. I want to be like him. I want to be what he wants me to be, and I want to be able to do what he wants me to do. And so that's kind of like where that goes. But then in the case of having to repent against a person, I'm afraid to hurt this person again. And the example of the husband, I'm afraid to do something that will hurt my wife or that will send her away from me or that will relationship in our family. It's a healthy fear. I don't want to just be careless about things. I want and I love her. That vehement desire. I've got this longing to be right with her and to be right for her, or in the case of a wife, him, or in the case of a people who are talking about things like racism and prejudice in the church. I understand and recognize that you are my brother or my sister, and I have this fear of doing something that's going to hurt or crush you. Remember the night before, I think last night or the night before, I was telling about the lady told that story, that I actually found offensive. But I couldn't say anything because she was sincere. She wasn't trying to be racist or prejudiced or anything like that. What she had been taught as a child, she thought she was telling a good story. And because I did have this fear of crushing her, because if I had come out like an angry black woman, she would have been hurt. She probably would have been crying. She never would have understood what was wrong. And so I had to go and pray and let God deal with my emotions before I could address that type of situation. God had to give wisdom of how and when to handle it. But that part of that is this fear of hurting her because I love her. Because I love God and I have a love of God for her. And so even though I feel some kind of way in that situation, it's bigger than my feelings or emotions in that moment. It's about this what we talked about earlier, this constant carefulness for dealing with others in his fear. So I don't just go around saying and doing stuff that hurts people all willy nilly. I have to really seek God because I want to be careful because Jesus gave his life for these people. God gave his only son for these people. He loved the whole world and he loves each one personally and individually. And so then by that same token though, I have a vehement desire to get the one. And so that's why we're okay as the 99 and we go get that one. It's because of this vehement desire. I'm going to talk a lot more about things about getting the one tomorrow when we deal with that zeal and revenge, because that revenge is about snatching back what's been stolen or what belongs to us or whatever. But tonight is about this, just understanding this desire. It's this burning compassion. And one thing that happens sometimes is, especially if we're not used to dealing with our emotion, we can write this off. We can write it off as emotion of a moment, and we enjoy it, and we weep, and then we go away. And because we had this intense emotional moment, we think that's the repentance. We think that's it. We had this broken heart moment. We had this indignation. We started to change some, and then we started to get, like I said, into this indignation, and now we begin to really reverence and fear God more, and we have this longing, and then we think we have repented. We think that's it. But the truth be told, we got some more. We got a couple more steps to do. There's the zeal and the revenge. Remembering that God has given us a ministry of reconciliation. It's not just about us getting to the place where we're close to Him, and sometimes that's what church is. It's a bunch of people that we let God change us some. We've gone through some change, and we experienced these emotions, and we love Him so much, and we love Him in our prayer closets, and we love Him in our prayer meetings, and we love Him in our worship services and things like that. And we feel like I've been changed. If I could sing, y'all, I would sing that song. I know I've been changed, because we can sing that. That's in our heart. And that's why I like these people that can sing, because I can't sing like that. I just open my mouth and don't let any sound come out. Let them sing it for me. But that's the moments we have, and it feels so good. And we think, man, we repented, but we haven't finished yet. The change is not complete because it hasn't affected others yet. It's really only just on us. Remember, we're not our own. We're bought with a price. We belong to Him, and His purpose and His use for us is to reach others, as many as we can. That's that same what we're reading just now in Hebrews chapter 10, verse 27, and it was talking about that fearful looking for judgment and fire indignation. But then at the end of that sentence says, which shall devour the adversary. That's what we're going to do tomorrow. Devour the adversaries with that zeal and with that revenge. But I really wanted to spend the night. Actually, we got a little bit, like I knew these three could go together because they really do kind of go together. But there's not enough time to really get into the other part tomorrow. But but that vehement desire, that that fear of the Lord. It's a reverential fear, but all of this indignation, all of this is us getting God's heart in the situation. But we need to really be cognizant of what's happening so that we don't just lump it all together and feel like we had an emotional experience. And that's that. Remember, we talked the second night about this godly sorrow. And if we weren't careful, we could get stuck there because emotions are addicting. And emotions are addictive. And so, we end up and we look around and we got the first church of godly sorrow. We could do the same thing here. We could park right here and we could have, the second church of indignation, of fear and vehement desire. This longing, we can get stuck on the emotional part. But then it's not meant to do that. It's meant for us to really get a glimpse and an understanding of Him, getting closer to Him, being more like Him. But He's always moving. And I'm saying that, and I got to be careful. I say that because remember, He sat down, it's finished, right? So it's not that He's working. But even the scriptures we read earlier this week about it, it's Him working in. He's working within us, and He's working to will and to do according to His work. He's moving on the inside of us, but so that we get moving and we keep moving. That example we gave before about maybe somebody that say it was somebody that had been in repentance or drugs or some kind of crime or something like that, and then there's on fire for 15 years or 20 years. It just never seems to die down. And yes, where sin abounds, grace much more abound. But the other part is that this repentance was real with them. They went through the entire process and changed in all of these ways and are changing. And that's the other part that we're going to know and remember is that this change and this changing is going to be ongoing. Because like we said the other night, there's always something that we pay for. It's not that we're ever going to be perfect, but we're always going to be moving closer. We're always going to be becoming more and more like Him until the day of Jesus' return. But as we get through steps and as we get closer and as we get this under our belt and that under our belt, there's more that we can reach people. There's more people that we can touch. There are more wrongs that we can right. Remember, it's we're the salt and the light of the earth. We are to illuminate and to bring understanding. We also are to preserve and hold back not only the darkness, but the deprivation and the there's a word that's in my head. Salt preserve. So the what is it that is preserving from decay, the decay and the sin and the depravity and things like that. So this is why we're here. But in order to be able to do that, we're in a process of ever coming more and more like that, ever increasing faith, growing in godliness. Like we said the other night, adding to our faith, piece by piece, right? Line upon line. But as we go through this process, we're going closer to Him. So that's what tonight was about. Tonight was really about getting God's heart in this. We got it on the sense of this godly sorrow at the beginning. And then we put the work to it with the carefulness and the diligence and the works meet for repentance. And now we're coming to really see and understand what this does to God and how we need to respond to it going forward. That's very necessary because that's going to be part of our motivation going forward. Remember, we read that definition for fear. It's a motivating factor. It's reverential fear for God. Of God is now a motivator in how I deal with people. I don't dare disrespect you because God loves you, and I don't dare disappoint God. Not because I'm scared of Him striking me down, but because I have this great love for Him. I'm afraid of hurting. If I am your wife, I don't dare dishonor you, not because I'm scared of you beating me, but because I love you and I'm afraid to disappoint you because I don't want to hurt you. If I'm your mother, I may have to discipline, but I don't dare break your spirit. Not because I'm afraid of you, but because I love you so much, I'm afraid of hurting you. If I'm your sister in Christ, and maybe you're different color, maybe you're a different race, and you have a different background, or maybe you live in a lifestyle that I don't agree with, but I don't dare crush you or treat you badly, and not because I'm scared of you beating me up or something like that, but because I know that Jesus died for you, his blood was shed for you, and I'm afraid to hurt you because of how much you mean to him. And because of how much you mean to him, you mean that much to me, and I don't want to hurt you either. You understand? So that fear is, as we're going through this process and we're separating ourselves from the sin, but we got to have that indignation where we're no longer making any excuses for it. Where I'm mad at myself. I'm mad at myself that I did that. Right? And so now, because of that, I'm not going to make any excuses for it. There's no denial of it. But because I'm trusting God, that anger doesn't turn into a guilt or condemnation. No, not any step of the way I might have become condemned, because every step of the way I recognize that I'm relying completely on the mercy of God, on the grace of God, on God's help, because at times these feelings are almost overwhelming. Remember that godly sorrow, I thought my heart would break when I really saw how God saw whatever it was that we were doing, that I was doing. So to keep from my heart just really breaking, just that grace and that mercy of God carried me, but I still had to sit down in that. Remember when we went through the mourning and the fasting and the sackcloth and ashes and all of that? It's the same way with this indignation. I feel bad. I'm mad. I'm mad that I did that. I'm mad that that we did that. He's mad that he hid his wife, who is his glory given to him from God. But he's so grateful that the mercy of God and the mercy of his wife gives him an opportunity to get it right, that he's afraid to do anything to mess it up. Right? That's what this fear is, and that vehement desire. I just wanted to be right so bad. I wanted to be right with him so bad. Him being the Lord, if I was the wife, I did with the husband. I want to have fellowship with my brothers and sisters. It's this longing, this earnest longing. You know how I said that indignation, that word that's translated indignation in this verse, is only used in this verse in the entire Bible. It's not used anyplace else in the entire Bible. This word that's interpreted vehement desire in this verse is only used in this chapter in the entire Bible. It's not used anyplace else. It's something about this repenting process that God is being very specific, and his word, like these are words that you won't find anyplace else. These Greek words are not used anyplace else in the Bible except these verses in this chapter. And so he's really serious about it. And now, we keep hearing this repentance. We keep hearing this repentance, and God is wanting us to know that he's not calling the whole world to sit down and pray together and sing some songs or kneel together, and then next week everybody go back to what they were doing before. God is not calling us to that. He's calling us now to walk through the process and change. And I do need to say this about that, because every a generation in the Bible has its assignment. All these scriptures are there, and the generation is now. There is a time that's coming, and God is looking for a people. And we're in a moment right now that has never been seen in this country, where so many are ready to hear and see, what must I do? Whether it's to be saved, to change, what must happen? What do we need to do? God has put us in this place, in this time, in this pivotal moment, and we got to do what we need to do. We got to say what we need to say. We got to lead by example. We got to repent ourselves, so that we're a channel that God can use to change the world. Because it's not automatic, the promises of God, in a moment. If the people of God don't do what God is calling them to do, we'll lose the moment, and it just gets dragged out. I heard Bishop McClendon say it like this about Dr. We keep talking about Dr. Martin Luther King, and everybody talks about Dr. Martin Luther King. Well, Dr. Martin Luther King truly was operating in a God moment, in a God, and he was anointed to do it. But when he was removed, when he was killed, and he was taken out, the work that went on, it was protesters, it was activists, it was politicians, it was civil rights leaders, but they weren't. It wasn't one man. It wasn't a man of God anymore. I know some of them were preachers and everything, and praise the Lord, but it wasn't a man ordained to do it. We're in a moment right now, and I believe the church, especially in this country, is ordained right now to say the words, to do the thing that lead to the change that God wants to happen. But first, we have to repent. Remember, we said earlier this week, judgment begins at the house of the Lord, right? So this is that moment. So we're walking through this process, and now once we got to these last three we talked about tonight, the indignation, the fear, the vehement desire, we are now that much closer to God's heart. So tomorrow night, we're going to deal with the zeal and the revenge, and that's when we get on our, I get my, that's when we get our, what you call them, our camouflage and all of that. See, because after we finish making the change and all of that, then now we're ready to go bring back what the devil stole. Now we're ready to move ahead and accomplish what God said, because there's nothing else between us and God. And likewise, let's say it was a marriage situation. Now the two of you are stronger than ever. You can move forward in unity and actual agreement. There's nothing else left between you, right? And because at the end of this, we said the end of repentance, you now prove yourself clear in this matter. Because we've done all of this, now there is no one that can lead us into your charge again. There's not going to be anybody that's going to be able to say, hey, they're not going to be able to call you a drunk anymore. They won't be able to call you a crackhead anymore, because you have got the works meet for repentance. You got God's heart behind it. You got his zeal and passion and revenge. Now you're going out and you living a life in such a way that a stranger will look at you and say, you lying to me, that ain't no crackhead. Sometimes I talk to people about my past, and I've had several people to say, you used to drink. Look, I didn't just drink. I drank to the point of excess, to the point of that's how I got to sleep at night, like many nights. But you know how they say you don't look like what you've been through? All that's happened is that you walk through and complete the repentance process. So it's not even on you anymore. It's not even the smell of smoke. Miss Linda laughed at me. But it's true. When we finish this, nobody will be able to call us that. Listen, if the church in America will walk through this repentance process, nobody will be able to call us racist. Nobody will be able to call us prejudiced. Nobody will be able to call us hypocrites, because we will have completed it, and we could have approved ourselves clear in this matter. But we're going to get to all that tomorrow. Listen, that's all we have for tonight. Thank you so much for sticking with us. This was night 5. We got 2 more nights. Can you believe it? 7 nights, 1 hour each. But I just believe in all my heart, everybody is hearing God say repent, but so many don't know what that means, and we don't want to miss this moment. We don't want to miss what God is doing in this time. So we want to get the understanding, and all I get understanding, so that we can do what we need to do and move full ahead, right? So anyway, that's all I got. We'll be back here tomorrow night. The YouTube did happen. It was kind of slow starting, so I think probably maybe some people will watch that later, but this one will be up. Okay. Thank you. No, Kim Gaines, speaktothe.city.com. If you want to give or something like that, go to speaktothe.city.com. Otherwise, see you guys tomorrow. Love you. Thank you all so, Miss Linda. Okay, talk to you later. Bye. Okay, thank you, YouTube friends. I think we're done now. Go out here. Friday. Some of you might see that later. We are on Facebook automatically. It's not quite 7 yet, and we're still working on our YouTube connection with them.